All right, let's talk about an animal you see all the time. One you think you know inside and out, the chicken. But what if I told you its real story is, well, legendary? The journey this bird has taken from the deep jungles to basically every corner of the globe, it's way more complex and honestly more surprising than you'd ever guess. So, let's get right into it.
So, I'm going to start with a pretty wild question. Are chickens the real king of birds? I know. You're probably picturing a majestic eagle or a powerful hawk, right? But hear me out. When you actually look at the numbers, their incredible global spread, and, well, some of their hidden talents, a very, very different contender steps into the ring.
Just look at this number. As of 2022, on any given day, there were about 26.56 billion chickens on planet Earth. Let that sink in for a second. That's not just a big number, it's almost impossible to wrap your head around. So what does a number like that actually mean when we're talking about the animal kingdom?
Well, it means this. You could take every single wild bird on Earth, every sparrow, every pigeon, every eagle, every penguin, all of them, add them all together, and you still wouldn't have as many birds as there are chickens. It's not even close. From a pure numbers game, a standpoint of biological success, the chicken has won. Game over.
Okay, so how did they pull off this total global domination? It definitely didn't happen overnight. To really get it, we've got to rewind the clock. Way back, thousands of years. We need to go back to a time when the chicken wasn't on our plates, but was just a wild bird hiding out deep in the jungles of Asia.
And what's so cool is that scientists, using modern genetics, have actually pinpointed their exact ancestor. It wasn't just some generic red jungle fowl. Nope. It turns out that pretty much every single domestic chicken alive today can trace its roots back to this one specific subspecies, Gallus spataceus. The entire story of the modern chicken started right there, in those specific forests.
And this journey has been a long one. I mean, look at this. The chicken's family tree split from its wild cousins almost 10,000 years ago. That's when things started to change. But it was a slow burn. Fast forward a few thousand years to around 2000 BC, and we start to see the first real evidence of chickens showing up in human settlements, like in the Indus Valley. But the really intense part, where humans started actively breeding them for specific traits, that didn't really kick into high gear until about 1100 years ago. It's been this long, drawn-out dance between chickens and us.
All right, let's switch gears and talk about something that almost nobody considers. Chicken intelligence. You've heard the insult bird brain, right? Well, I'm here to tell you that the latest science shows that when it comes to chickens, maybe that should actually be a compliment.
And don't just take my word for it. Listen to this from Scientific American. It describes the chicken as deceptive and cunning, with communication skills on par with some primates. It even says they can solve complex problems and show empathy. We're not talking about a simple animal running on pure instinct here. We're talking about a creature with a genuinely complex inner life.
So, what does that actually look like? What can they do? Well, get ready for this. Studies have shown they can use logical reasoning. You know that thing where if A is bigger than B and B is bigger than C, they can figure out that A is bigger than C without ever seeing them together. They can do basic arithmetic. They can show self-control, holding out for a better treat later. And they have object permanence. They know something is still there even after you've hidden it. This is some seriously advanced stuff.
Okay, but this next part is what really blew my mind. Check out this comparison. A newly hatched chick, we're talking just days old, can do things that it takes a human toddler years to learn. Basic math? Check. Self-control? Yep. Even some basic principles of engineering. They literally hit the ground running with a mental toolkit that is, in some ways, more advanced than a human baby's. It's incredible.
And all this brain power isn't just for solving lab puzzles. No way. It all feeds into a really deep social and emotional life, one that is so much richer than we ever give them credit for. For starters, their communication is wild. They have over 30 different vocalizations, each with a super specific meaning. It's not just random clucking. It's, hey guys, I found food, or watch out, hawk in the sky. They can recognize and remember more than 100 different faces, both other chickens and humans. And get this, they're social schemers. Less dominant roosters will sometimes fake a food call, but do it silently just to trick a female into coming over without alerting the big boss rooster. That's some next-level social chess right there.
But maybe the most profound thing is this. They can feel empathy. Scientists have proven it. When a mother hen watches her chicks go through something stressful, even if she herself is perfectly safe, her own body reacts. Her heart rate shoots up, she gets agitated, she is physically and emotionally feeling her baby's stress. That is an incredibly deep emotional connection.
So when you have an animal this smart, this social, and this, well, present in our lives, it's really no surprise that humans have turned them into powerful symbols for centuries.
All over the world, they mean so much more than just food. They're symbols of good luck, fertility, and prosperity. In ancient Egypt, they were connected to the goddess Isis. In China, they can represent loyalty. In Christianity, there's the famous story with St. Peter. And in many African cultures, they still play a crucial role in traditional ceremonies. They are woven into the very fabric of human culture.
And that brings us to today. And it brings us to a really difficult and frankly uncomfortable paradox. How do we reconcile everything we've just learned, this intelligent, emotional, culturally significant animal, with what its life is like in the modern world?
The sheer scale of it all is just massive. Take a look at the annual production in just the top few countries. You've got the United States topping the list with over 9 billion a year. 9 billion. Then you have China and Indonesia with billions more. This isn't just farming anymore. This is a global industry, and it has completely transformed what it means to be a chicken.
If those annual numbers are too big to grasp, how about this one? 24 million. That's roughly how many chickens are slaughtered for food every single day. And that's just in the United States.
And for the overwhelming majority of those birds, the ones we call broiler chickens, this is their whole life, 40 days. From the day they hatch to the day they're processed, it's about 6 weeks.
And just to show you how much things have changed, look at this. Back in the early 1900s, it took a chicken around 4 months, 120 days to grow to market size. Today, we've got it down to about 40 days. Through incredibly efficient selective breeding and nutrition, we've basically tripled the speed of their growth.
So that brings us full circle. We started with this idea of the chicken as just a chicken. But we've seen a different story, haven't we? The most successful bird on the planet, a descendant of a wild jungle bird, a creature with surprising intelligence, complex social lives, and even empathy. And, at the same time, a cornerstone of a massive global industry. So I'll just leave you with this one question. After hearing all of this, how do you see the chicken now?